the process that I'll be demonstrating to you today, it starts and ends with the taxpayer and automates everything in between. And we take a look at it in the following phases. The gather phase, and so that's a phase where we use our TaxCaddy product that we will show that to really eliminate the paper organizer, improve client experience, and streamline the collection of documents to flow into the next step. And so if you go to taxcaddy.com, this is a website that is actually for your clients, for taxpayers, not for CPAs. And the purpose of this website is so that when you ask your clients, hey, why don't you create a TaxCaddy account to make working with me easy and seamless and make your tax life easier? And they'll say, well, why should I bother to do that? This website answers the question. So I think I should start off by saying one of the things that we've really tried to accomplish to differentiate TaxCaddy from online organizers or portals is that we've focused on client experience. Our goal is not just to make it more streamlined and efficient for the CPA, but it's also to improve your client's experience. You know, your client works with other financial providers in very modern ways with mobile applications and so on, but they still use organizers that have been around for decades with their CPA. And you have so many clients that do want to work in a more modern way, and we want to speak to that need. Needless to say, if we don't do that, if we don't create a great user experience for your clients, then they're not going to use it. And so it doesn't matter how potentially efficient a solution can make you if your clients don't use it. Think about online organizers. They've been around for over a decade. Yet for firms that have tried to implement them, maybe 2 or 3% of their clients use them. If a client won't fill out a paper organizer, why would they type into an online organizer? Portals are used for business returns with decent success. Firms will maybe deliver stuff through a portal, but to actually get clients to respond to document requests and upload all of their stuff to a portal, most firms are not successful with it because, once again, a taxpayer sees these solutions as something that's convenient for the CPA firm, but not necessarily for the taxpayer. And if there's not something in it for them, there's no reason why they need to do it. They'll just get it to you, whatever is easiest for them, which might be sending an email, which is really bad for you from an efficiency standpoint, or still mailing the documents, or some other method. So we start off by trying to sell the taxpayer, showing them the benefits. If you go to taxcaddy.com, you'll see that there's a 75-second video on the homepage that you can look at. And as you scroll down here, or as the taxpayer scrolls down, it gives all of the reasons why they might why they'd want to use it. It's safe and secure. You can gather documents easily through many ways, like taking photos and automated downloads, things we'll talk about here in a few minutes. You can use it on any platform. You can sign documents electronically. So go take a look at it, but this is what your client will see. And with regards to the goal of, really focusing on client experience, I think the thing that, rather than taking our word for it, what demonstrates that the best is just in the App Store, search for TaxCaddy, which is what I have open here on my mobile phone. And you can see here it's got a 4.7 client rating off 74 reviews, which is a fairly decent amount of reviews. Most people don't leave reviews. And if you go and say, see all the reviews, you can go ahead and read what actual taxpayers wrote. This is my first year using the TaxCaddy app, and it's innovation at its finest for the tax industry. I've worked in tax and can appreciate the time, etc. So, I suggest you take a look at these things, and then, you can go and take a look at the taxpayer app ratings for the CCH app. Actually, I don't think they have an app that taxpayers have, so I don't know if searching for that will allow you to see the ratings. But the point is this will show you kind of the how to what extent we've accomplished the goal of creating a great taxpayer experience. So I'm going to go into the application. You notice how I can go in with Face ID, and I'm also let me log into it here. And so you'll see the taxpayer can use a browser on PC or Mac, or a browser on a tablet. We have native iPhone and Android apps, a native iPad app. You're looking at here the native iPhone app. And when I log in, here is the firm logo. By the way, later this year, we have an entire branding customization that will be coming out that will allow you to select a color palette that matches the color palette for your firm and have different shaped logos and so on. So the branding capability is getting extended quite a bit. And when I go in, I see I have various tax pro requests. I have a questionnaire to answer, I have documents to sign, and so on. So I can go ahead and take these, one at a time. So I can go into the questionnaire and I can start to answer these questions, as you can see here. And as I do that, it tracks my status. You can see here 6%. I can also go and do it on the mobile app. So if I go into the mobile app, notice how it starts me on question 3 because I already answered the first 2. And I can continue. So one of the things we saw here was that about 2/3 of taxpayers that use TaxCaddy completed their questionnaire. And most people will say that with an organizer, maybe 5% complete the questionnaire. In surveys, taxpayers told us they did it because it was convenient. They could just, when they had some time, they could go through some questions. If they were in a waiting room or airport or whatever, they didn't have to sit down at their kitchen table after dinner and start filling it out. So there's a questionnaire that you can use to ask the standard types of questions. Did you move? Did you have new kids? Did you change jobs? Things like that. Other things that you can have here is you can see there's documents to review. So let's take a look at what the documents to review are. You can have documents to review that are just, let's say, something that you need to show them, like a privacy policy. So in this case, I'll go into this privacy policy, and you can see I can zoom in on it, and I can go ahead and say, okay, yep, I've looked at that. I'm going to mark it as a review. And that will remove that as an item. So remember, before I had 2 items to review, now I just have 1. And if I go into the browser here, and I go into here, you'll see also now I only have 1 item to review. Now, you can have other types of items to review. In this case, you'll see that there's a typewriter here. That means that this item is a fillable form. So we have some clients that need to, some CPA firm clients that need to have their clients fill something out. So they can create fillable PDFs that they then upload and have their clients look at, and they can complete. And one of the things that's really convenient about this for a taxpayer is that they don't have to download and re-upload the download the PDF, fill it out, and then re-upload it like you would typically have to do in a portal. Here, they can go ahead and they can just fill out the PDF on screen in the browser, in their mobile phone, on their iPad. They don't need to download it first. So you can see here, I typed this in right into the browser. The first time I went back out, went back in, it's still here. Other things that can be done, you'll notice that here I have my requested items. So I have a list of requested items, and you'll notice that I can have them request that they sign things. So here's a 7216 consent letter. I'll go into the 7216 consent letter, and once again, I can zoom in, take a look, and say, all right, that looks fine. You'll notice that it says, Dear Mr. Anderson, etc. This is the name of the taxpayer for this account, you can see. So we actually provide mail merge functionality so that you can create a letter template and send it out to all of your clients and replace the client name and the tax year and the contact, the CPA firm contact who owns that client relationship. All of those are mail merge fields so that you can send out customized letters in batch to clients for them to review or sign. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and sign it on my mobile phone, and it asks me to put in my first name. This is just so someone can't say, oh, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't mean to tap that. Once I put in my first name, then I can go ahead and I can proceed and submit the signed document. And once I do that, you'll see it's one less item for me to sign. And if I go back out and, let's say I'm going to look at this engagement letter, and if the taxpayer is looking at something, but maybe they, for whatever reason don't want to sign it, they have a question, in any document that they're looking at, they can go ahead and type a question like, what will the fees be? And so these messages come to you, they're linked to the document so you know exactly what document the question relates to. We'll take a look at that a little later. And but that messaging system is something else that's available for clients. Now you'll notice that of the types of requested items you can have, items for them to review, items for them to sign, the next is documents for them to upload. And the list that you see here on both sides of the screen, on the browser and in the mobile phone, this is a custom created list from the tax software proforma. So when you roll forward your tax software file, we actually pull the data from that file so that every client has a customized list of items. If you think about in an organizer, what is, clients rarely fill out an organizer. A lot of times they throw it in the trash, but what is the one thing they use it for? It's a checklist where they go through and they see all the things they gave you last year so they can put that in the pile again. So that's the greatest aspect of utility for the organizer, and that's what we've retained here. Just provide them the list of what you want, what they gave you last year, and give them a bunch of easy ways to get it to you. So one way that they can get you these documents is they can upload it from their PC or Mac. They can you see here, there's like an upload button, so they could do that. They can just drag and drop a document. If, for instance, if I've got one here, I can just drag it right on top of an item, and that will upload it for that item. So you'll see I've uploaded that. And once I upload a document, it reduces the number of items that I need to provide. So, now I only have 12 document requests. Each time I upload one, the request comes off my list. Another thing that I can do is I can take photos of the documents. And what we've done with TaxCaddy is we've created an in-app PDF scanner that in many ways works like a check deposit for a banking app. So when you think about, right now you're probably getting a lot of documents that taxpayers take pictures of and email them to you. And when you do that, you get a picture of not just the document, but the desk behind it and the coffee mug. And it's a 15 megabyte file taken with a 12 megapixel camera, and you have to detach it from the email and convert it to PDF, and OCR won't pick it up because, it's not just a document, it's a picture of a desk with a document inside of it. And so the size and ratio aspects of the document are off that prevent OCR from working accurately. It's easy for the client, which is why they do it, but it's not great for you. Now we think about a bank. A bank doesn't allow people to just take a picture of a check with their, mobile phone camera and email it to their banker. They give you a very, an in-app camera that tells you get closer, get further. And when it knows it can read that check in a way that it can be automatically processed, it automatically snaps the shutter. So that's, what we call a win-win. It's great for the banking customer who wants to deposit checks that way, but it's also a win for the bank. So we've done the same thing here. We know that taxpayers want to take pictures of documents. Let's just give them an easy way to do it. So you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and tap on this U.S. National Bank. It gives me a bunch of items, ways that I can handle it. I'm going to say take a photo. And when I do, it's going to open up the mobile app. It's going to tell me to move closer, hold still. And then it's just going to take the picture like you just saw it did. I did not snap that photo. And you can see that there's no background around it. It has completely cropped it. I'm going to say use. no additional pages. If it was a multi-page document, I could say yes, and then it would create, a 2-page PDF or 3-page PDF. But in this case, I'll say no, and that's it. You'll notice how quickly this document gets uploaded in maybe 3 seconds. That's because we take it as a compressed PDF file that will be somewhere between 40 to 80 kilobytes. So you're not going to end up with, 10 megabyte files. If we go and take a look at this in the uploaded document section, here's that W-2 that I just uploaded. And when we go into it, no background. This is OCR quality. This looks like what you would have if you had dropped this document into a production scanner. So this is the win-win. The taxpayers can take the pictures of the documents, and you can still have these images automatically routed into the 1040 scan, and populate system to organize the documents and extract the data. There are other ways that you can upload documents. So you'll notice that there's a button called Smart Links, and there's also in the overview page here, you'll see there's a section on Smart Links that tells you that, hey, we can retrieve your documents automatically. So to use the Smart Links, the taxpayer can just click on that. We cover over 300 financial institutions and payroll companies and mortgage companies, and they enter in their credentials, and the system will check once a day for any tax documents like 1099s, 1098s, 5498s, W-2s if it's a payroll company, and download them the day they become available. It'll download them, it'll match them up to the document request item that it relates to, so that item will automatically come off the taxpayer's to-do list. And one less thing for them to do, you get the document the day that it comes out. It's a native PDF, which means it has perfect quality, so the OCR will be perfect or almost perfect. And because you're getting documents earlier, it may mean you can start the return earlier. There are other ways that documents can be uploaded. Using, you can upload a file even from mobile sources. So you can see here that I can access my OneDrive and my Dropbox and everything to upload files to my CPA if I want to. Let's say that I don't have a receipt for something, but I know I had the expense, like maybe this charitable contribution. I can go ahead and I can say reply with amount. And you see here I can go ahead and put in a description and an amount. And I can always go ahead and just say, you know what, I don't have this anymore. I already provided this to you, and so on. So there are different ways that the taxpayer can respond. When they're done, they can just say, done uploading. And this allows them to say, you know what, I don't have any of these documents anymore, maybe with the exception of this K1. That's still coming, but the rest I don't have. And that creates a notification for you that, hey, you can start this return. So with that, I'm going to go now and skip to this ends the gather phase, and I'm going to now go into the prepare phase from the CPA firm's perspective. So let me go let me log into SurePrep. So here I am in what we call the Tax Caddy dashboard. You can see I have a list of all the clients that I'm following. In this case, it's 60. But I have some really nice features here on how to limit that list. So for instance, if I just want to know what are clients that have sent me messages, I can go ahead and I can do that. And I can see here clients that have sent me messages, such as, here's the one that I mentioned just sent this engagement letter. What will the fees be? You can see here I could open the document if I wanted to, and I can provide a reply. And by the way, you'll notice that here I just got a message saying you have a message. So I got that push notification telling me that the CPA firm just responded. So I have various filters. If I want to know if uploaded documents, you can see here that it gives me, all right, the questionnaire is 100% done. I've got 11 out of 13 documents uploaded. So this is information that can really help me determine, do I want to start preparing the return? Is enough here? I can also see the last activity. I could see what clients have been most active most recently if I want to use that to decide what clients to look at. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use the done uploading filter, because if you remember, the last thing I did as the client when we were gathering the data a moment ago is I clicked on the done uploading button. So this tells me what is done uploading, and I can go ahead and I'm going to go into one where all the documents have been uploaded using essentially the same client, but where all the documents are already uploaded. And you can see here that when I'm in the requested items, I see the status. So for the taxpayer, as I reviewed or signed documents or uploaded documents, they disappeared from my list. But on the CPA side, they don't disappear, they just show the status. This has been reviewed, this has been signed, this has been uploaded. So you have a status of everything that's there. If there's any unread messages, you see at the top here, I see there's one unread message, so I can go ahead and take a look at this and reply to it. And when I look at the requested items, I'll see that everything is there, either already provided, uploaded, does not apply, except for one K1. And one of the things I can do here is, you might have the K1. Let's say you prepare the business return and you have the K1. So if that's the case, you can go ahead and you can upload it yourself. You saw me upload it from the taxpayer side, but you can also upload it from the CPA side, in which case you're now really getting several things taken care of in one shot. You're knocking something off of their to-do list from the requested items. You are delivering the K1 to them. And now that K1 is set up to be submitted as a source document into their individual return, which you'll need anyways. So you can also respond to some of these items and upload them yourself if you have the documents or know the information.